Sinner Finance. I'm Sinner Speed.
CS.
Sam.
Michael.
And we got a guest at the table.
Harry Taroni.
Harry Taroni.
Cool.
Where we're starting?
Let's start with...
We'll just start with normal house business, innit? Let's start with UCS.
Smiling this week, man.
Yeah.
Look at the big smile.
Better than last time.
Better than last time still.
A bit of context for Harry Taroni. The last time CS came on the show, he was feeling a bit down to begin with. Just overwhelmed by a lot of things that he's trying to get out, a lot of creative ideas. And us as a group gave him a lot of advice on means and ways of just, relaxing, simplifying things and just
getting things done, really,
getting
innit?
things done, innit? So
I need that advice now.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had a friend that reached out to me and he's like, I said, I watched the podcast, it's good, but take everything with a pinch of salt that everybody's saying, like, and he's not saying it in a negative way. He's just saying like, the best of us, we all get to that space at times where it gets overwhelming and you don't know what to do, but just take your time and you'll figure it out. But obviously, man, have definitely taken on the advice that they gave me, and it's just about just finding ways to implement it, you get me? And also, to give you more context, because you asked before we started recording what I do, so I do photography, filmmaking, and content and stuff like that. So after the last episode, I was talking about how I've got a studio space that I need to start renting out, and it was just getting to a point where it was just annoying me because I had loads of other stuff that I'm trying to do as well, and just felt like I didn't even know where to start because my head was just completely just frazzled at the time. But I haven't rented it out yet, but I've had inquiries though, like off the back of the video that was put out, and just me being more active in sharing it and speaking about it with people. I've been getting a lot more inquiries about it, so it's just about double down. I'm gonna have to double down on the things that these guys have told me to implement, as well as some other stuff, and I know that I'm gonna see the stuff that I need to see. Also, with that being said, I mentioned last week or the last episode in it that I was featured in National Geographic for the project. Yeah, but this morning I received the book. So there's a guy called Michael Macmillan who is like a writer, artist, basically scholar, you know what I'm saying? And he was one of the original guys who has created a project on the front room. And my project is like a continuation on it, like I bring it into a modern day context. He's written a book in it. The book was out of print, but a new version of that book has been re-released. And some of my photos from the project are now featured in the book. So, like, man, cemented now, like, in the sense of...
Press a button, man.
In real life.
In real life, yeah, I'm saying. So, yeah, man, onwards and upwards.
Well done,
congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Well done. Is there the round of applause one on there as well, man? All of them, man.
That's all of them, man.
There you go.
Nah, that sounds good, man. How's your week been, Speed?
Okay. Well, not more than a week, innit? So it's been like over a month since the last one, innit? So
Yeah.
That's not good, man.
Say again.
It's not good.
Why?
It's a bit long, innit?
Oh, whoa.
We're working towards that now, I mean.
We're working on it. So obviously, CS has said that he's a filmmaker, photographer, and all that. He didn't mention the business of Sinners podcast itself.
Apologies.
I don't know why.
Apologies. Yeah.
I don't know why, but we've had a very good month. You know what I'm saying?
Excellent
Yeah.
A very good month. So we've gone from having nearly like
4,000
subscribers on YouTube to all the way to like 18,000 now.
Yeah,
18,000?
18,000.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
Really?
Man.
In a month. Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
bloody
still spiraling as well. So
what's done that?
I was just about to say that. What do you think? What have you
let's
identified
know
what's
what's done that? It's a lot, man.
It's the shorts.
it's the shorts.
okay?
Really?
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's the shorts.
The YouTube shorts.
Yeah. Amongst everything else, obviously, like the content's always.
Yeah. The consistent content is obviously just pushing it anyway.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then, just formulating a plan with how we even implement the shorts, get them out there, and even the style of them as well. Just
Refining everything. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've looked at what's worked and we're trying to improve on that. You get what I'm saying? So we always analyze the space that we're in. We look at all the other podcasts that are out there and we're trying to understand why they're working and what they're doing to get the growth. And we're trying to, what's the word that Speedy likes to use? Assimilate. You know what I'm saying?
Assimilate.
And
evolve.
And evolve, yeah. So that's where we are right now, man. And it's
That's
it's
one
working.
thing I've noticed. I've been here 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's what 4 of you here. You're all pulling in the same direction.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong if you're all doing that.
Nah, of course.
and that's like part of the team as well. Like obviously there's more to this in this team as well, and everyone's like you said pulling in the same direction, and that does help. And that is another reason why the subscribers are doing what it's doing, because when it's time to even on a Thursday or whatever day we do the podcast, everyone knows their role, everyone knows their jobs, and everyone's pulling in the same direction. Do you get it? But on top of that as well, I've started the Found Your Gym podcast. Obviously, that's part of the business that we're part of the service that we're offering. But yeah, I thought, let's just get this ball on. Let's just get it rolling, man.
What's the feedback been on that?
It's been very good, and it's given me a bit of structure to know what we need to do, what direction to go in, and what people also want to see. Like to be honest, in terms of the cast and the people that's on the actual podcast, they kind of stuck it on me. Then you get what I'm saying? Like I put little feelers out, and they said that they want to do it, and they organised everything. And off the back of that, I just made it happen. Do you get it? I don't think it would have happened if they didn't push me to make it happen. And obviously now we've got something to show as a.
Nah, it looked brilliant, man. Like the way you was explaining it, it's exactly how I imagined it, and I think it works perfect in the gym.
Do they want to do it again?
Yeah. Well, it's not even whether they want to do it again. I'll get them to do it again, but I'm gonna get other people. It's like
I know it's not supposed to be centered around them as some kind of host. It's supposed to just be
Centered around the business.
centered around the business. But I can imagine if people say, "Can I do it again?"
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So obviously there's a few of them felt like they could have spoke more. Obviously they're all new to it, innit? So obviously we gave them the direction, what we wanted to see, what's the best way to go about things, and because it's the first time it's been done, they haven't really got any examples. Maybe one or two got a bit of stage fright, but
they're done good though. You coached them through the process.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And that's
now
part
they
of the
want to
package.
go again. Like they actually enjoy.
Now
the
they're ready to go
experience.
again.
Yeah. So, and then obviously I've got people actually hollering me off the back of that want to get involved. And obviously I want to take it in different directions. Obviously it's a gym podcast, but there's so much to the gym that like let's just say when you're doing content, you're just gonna think machinery, this and that. But there's a whole mental health side. There's a it just gives people a bit more like like when you're in the gym, you're releasing endorphins. It makes you feel better in it. The amount of people that have come up to me in the gym and said, "Oh, thanks for opening it," and it's really helped me with my mental health and all them things. It's like, and then they've got whole backstories to even saying that. It's mad. So I know what direction I want to go in with it, and obviously it's just for us to create that.
And that's something that you just touched on, Harry, just before we started recording. You said you love the gym.
Yeah,
and you touched on, was it 23 stone?
Yeah, so I had like the laziest first 20 years of my life ever. And then over a pint one day, my best mate, he's a boxer and his dad's a coach. And we're having a pint and he went a bit flamboyant and so he was like, "Why don't you do a white collar?" And I was like, "Yeah, pissed. Yeah, go on, I'll do one of them." Signed up to it because of me. I've told everyone within 10 seconds I've signed up to it. And then all of a sudden, I've just told everyone. I thought, I can't actually get beat up in front of everyone I've ever met. I better start training. So I went to the gym and got skinny, like 12 stone.
Wow.
And
From
then,
23 to 12.
Yeah,
That's intense, man.
Took me like 2 years to get to that. I had like 8 amateur boxing fights. And then, obviously, get Mrs. Move, buy a house, move away from the gym, and that comes second. And then just decided to try and keep the fitness going, do you know what I mean? Just make it into more of a lifestyle.
Yeah, man, sounds good. Yeah, for the viewers that don't know, can you just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Harry Taroni, and I've self-proclaimed myself the Scrap King. So my family own a scrapyard in the middle of Birmingham, like in Aston, and we're 3 generations. My nan still works there; she's 84.
Wow.
My dad's 62, I think. My brother, my sister, my mum, my dad's cousin, my cousins. There's 8 or 9 of us, and then. The company's been going 60 odd years now. Just
1955, is that when you started?
59, I
59,
think. 59,
okay.
Drop a bomb for that, man.
I know, bro.
It's crazy.
You're getting close to the 100 years.
You get a letter off the crown or something, I think.
Do you?
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
And obviously, you want to... Very successful in my dad's own right, but then he's sort of set up such a wicked base now there's no reason for that to stop.
A great foundation.
Yeah, exactly. So like my brother and I were like really keen on seeing like my dad smashed it in 60 years. Where can like Rich and I take it in the next? But
So it's not just about carrying on what's already there. It's about evolving it and maybe even doing better, basically.
yeah, of course, mate. I get loads of people say to me, any haters I've ever got have always been down to like, oh, dad's money, you know, this, that, the other. But no one ever really sees like we're doing 10-hour days, 6 days a week, and then you got the stress of actually like we're both directors, both shareholders now, and that all that pressure comes back on yourselves.
No, of course.
But then like people just think, oh yeah, there's that silver spoon, all that.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this? That there's always that thing where they say that in the first 3 generation, the money's gone.
The money goes.
Because like, that allegory. The dad was walking, the son was on the bus, the son then was driving a little banger, then the nice car, and then the next son will be walking again because he's lost it. He hasn't got that hunger. Doesn't know what it takes to do all that.
Hard times make weak. What is it?
It's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Hard times make strong men.
Make strong
men. Wait, good times.
Good times
make weak men.
Yeah.
I went to private school. I went boarding school. I did like Hogwarts.
Okay.
And loads of wealthy kids there. And one moment really fucking agitates me to this day, man. One of my pals said to me, "You're going to be that like generation that fucking loses it all."
Okay.
That's a thing. Like that people talk about that have got money from families.
So, cause, you know, is what it is, isn't it? Like
that's like a big diss. That
he said to me, he said, like, I wasn't academic.
You're gonna be there, man.
He was like, I wasn't academic or anything. Didn't really like care much for school and that. And he said, "Oh, you've got it easy now," sort of thing. And his attitude was, "Oh yeah, well, you're going to be the one to, you know, get given the nice car and then fucking lose it all." And even now, it just really winds me up thinking about it.
Do you think that you said motivated? Because you said you still think about it to today. So it's obviously a big.
Yeah.
It may not be what he said, but it's that idea, that pressure, that.
What's funny now is like he ain't done a day's work since school.
Was your dad academic?
My dad's like give him a number, talk money to my dad.
Yeah.
He doesn't need paper. He's just everything's in his head. He's old school.
Calculator.
Oh man, he's sick, and like our business is all revolving around like weights and figures, and he can just like spiel them off and just knows it without like thinking. And
That's
it's just
60
like,
years, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yes, the reason why I asked because he made that decision to put you into private school. If he wasn't coming from an educational background, then that's like I was just trying to get behind his thought process.
Open and honest, my old man went to boarding school as well.
Okay.
My granddad, who started the company off, was successful in his own right, and then my dad's got 3 brothers, and they all went through it.
Wow.
To be fair, and they've all gone on. My uncle's got another scrapyard. My other uncle, he worked. It's like different people in families, isn't there? So my other uncle then sold his shares to my dad like 20 years ago, became an employee, alcoholic, has like lost everything, moved away. And then my other uncle then, he is successful in his own right by doing the car boot sales around Bastard's Pole and that. He's got like,
owning the.
So he owns the
pitch,
land, but then he also puts on the e-boot car boot sales, and he's got like 3,000 people there every day.
What's the EB?
It's just his company.
Oh, okay, that's the name of the
And
company.
he's just, basically just gets a field.
3,000 boots on
Cars and that, yeah.
On
And everyone goes
wow.
and sells their stuff and that. And
Every day.
Like 3 or 4 days a week.
It's like eBay and Amazon in real life.
It is, mate, yeah.
Like, wherever you want, it's there.
He's actually just pulled a TV show off it.
Wow.
They're filming for him now, man. Yeah, it's like just 3,000 cars will pull up. People just selling their old stuff. I mean, then 10,000 people actually turn up to then just look round and just buy the random stuff that people have. It's
Man, these are things that are overlooked. How much do you charge per boot?
I might be wrong, but like call it like a tenner if you're selling, and like a quid entry. But then if you've got 10,000 people rocking
30k every 3 days.
And you own the land. What's the cost?
I know he owns some land, and I know that he rents some off farmers and that.
It's only going to be so much. Like generally, the margins are high because one thing that I'm very conscious of is we can talk big numbers, but how much of it are you keeping in your pocket sometimes?
Yeah, of course, mate. Like our trade, people look at the whole stigma around scrapyards is like you're either dodgy or you just absolutely load it. But then what they don't realise is your 2 cranes to process your scrap cost 400 grand each, and you've got to pay for that somehow.
That's what I was going to ask you. How much is the most expensive piece of machinery you got on site?
1.4 million.
Okay.
We only had that installed in January.
What's that for?
Being as Harry is the main guest, let's just.
And we're just talking, innit? We're just talking.
Yeah, no, but we want to know how you lot are doing so we can get back onto
exactly.
I told you I'd waffle, man.
Nah, man.
That's interesting, man. It's interesting.
You get to say,
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I've had a good month, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We were just talking to Mike, and we were just talking about gratitude and having a gratitude list of things that you're grateful for, because we're always people that aim high, so we always know that we're nowhere compared to what we're going to be. But it's just important to have that gratitude list and just be, well, I'm grateful for this, that, the other.
What are you grateful for?
So this month, I'm grateful for a lot of movement in some deals that I'm trying to get over the line. For some flat conversions. It was a lot of back and forth trying to the legal side of it, the vendor, just a lot of back and forth negotiations.
Is that are you in charge of the negotiations?
Yes.
Bro, I know. Listen, when like I said, it's like it might be small to you, like, but even dealing with leases and all them things, bro, like that's not my strong point. So in them kind of negotiation things, bro, headache.
Just dealing with people, bro. Yeah. People changing their minds.
You know what? Can we go into that a little bit? And I guess everyone can relate to this in their own way. You've gone in, you've seen an opportunity, you've put forward something to someone. It doesn't even matter what it's about. They've said, well, they might say no, first of all. What does the no mean? Do we stop at the no?
You go for no, man. Keep going for no's, isn't it? For me, it's like I try to, I like complex situations because I like the challenge of finding a solution. So I'm looking for more complex deals where the average Joe will kind of be like
that no will be a no.
That no will be a no. I'm trying to find a yes, even if it's no, yes. Like, why is it a no? Like, why is it a no? Try and get to know the customer or the client and find out why it's a no and how you can kind of find a solution to that problem.
So it might be a no right now.
Yeah. But why is it a no? It's a no because you're trying to do traditional strategies, but we're going to try and do this over here and this way. And just dealing with people that are not necessarily business minded. Sometimes the customer is not business minded and you're trying to enter a business deal with a customer that isn't business minded. That can be challenging as well. Yeah.
I hear that.
Okay.
I guess that's going to be a lot in the property world, isn't it? Because obviously a lot of people own
100%, bro.
Own properties, but it's not really
accidental landlords. Most people.
Yeah.
So very few people are professional landlords.
So that navigating that must be a mad thing, really.
Now, of course, and the industry is constantly changing. I was talking to Harry about the interest rates and stuff like that, and I'm finding it now that it's actually normal. People are owning properties, investment properties, and they don't know all these details.
Yeah.
That's not their forte, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they are important, especially when things change and now you're renting your property as a vanilla buy-to-let, but it's not working because of the numbers and you don't understand why. Yeah. You have to, you know what I'm trying to say?
You know, the worst one is I know a lot of older people that had mortgages before like certain regulation came in.
Interest only.
They're stuck they're on interest only. Yeah. They don't even know they haven't even paid for the door.
Yeah, go into that, Mike.
Now, you know what it is? I've seen it a lot, and I will say I've seen it a lot with single women, like mum's ages kind of thing. It's like they were sold these properties. They would have used like even the child benefit to like make the affordability up on an interest only, and it would have been like some mortgage broker that just wanted to get her across the line, told her whatever she needed to do because that was her dream, to secure the house for the kids kind of thing. He couldn't have done it to a couple because the man would have probably came in like, oh, this don't sound right. But she was, I got my house. She was just happy to have the house. So I'm seeing that now, like, it's an age group where they've been sold interest only. They didn't know. They just about got the affordability. They're coming towards the end of the term. And it's like, you need to give us 100 grand.
They think they've paid off the house because obviously you got repayments and interest only. So they say they've been paying off just the interest for 10 years or 20 years. And then they haven't paid off the house. They've just been paying off the interest.
And it's devastating. Yeah, it's devastating.
Imagine finding out that after 10, 15, 20 years.
So do you think that would be the case more so now as well? Do you think people will be...
I would say, well, it happened then, so why not now? Yeah. Why not now? Yeah, don't worry, sign here, sign here. Yeah,
I think we're seeing that problem now from before pre-2008.
Yeah.
Where it was different. And now we're seeing the consequences all these years on.
I think the problem now, though, is people are being told to take interest only. Yeah. Our house prices double every 10 years, so don't worry about paying it off. Just get the mortgage,
You'll get
keep
your
your costs down,
you'll get your equity.
and in 10 years it will pay for itself when they want their money back. You can just remortgage then or sell it and make the money back or whatever.
Are they talking about 0% deposits and that now as well?
I've seen some lenders touching back on that. Yeah, going back onto the 100% mortgages and stuff like that. But these things are kind of they can be risky depending on the market. At the market, like then people sometimes become like mortgage prisoners, and they've got negative equity.
That's the thing.
Their circumstance changes.
That's the thing. No, we're familiar with mortgage prisoners, mortgage trapped, where it's like you haven't got the credit or the finances to move off the product that you're on, so you're stuck on it. Doesn't matter what it does, you're stuck on that mortgage. You can't go nowhere else. You're stuck on it or lose the house. Which one do you want to do? You know what I mean? You can't get another mortgage. You haven't even got a job.
Unless your circumstance change, and then they don't realise. And sometimes that can take 2 years.
Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes they probably know. They'll see your credit drop and all this kind of stuff. They know you ain't. They know that sometimes your mortgage lender is your bank. They know what's going in there. They know when it stops. But it's just like, just keep quiet. You miss a couple payments, couple angry letters, sort it out. Because I know how much pressure someone will be on to make sure it's good. That's the game.
How's your business doing?
My business is good.
Or how's business doing?
How's business? You know what? Business is good. I've reached a new level of productivity in my life, and I've been fighting for a very long time, years, to get to this point of just productivity, organizing, scheduling, just being on the ball, waking up the same time, going to sleep the same time. Like I'm in a zone where things can get done. Now it's a case of just making sure I'm tweaking and educating myself to make sure I'm doing the right things with that level of productivity. So that's good. Systems continue to be made in the business, and things are moving a lot smoother than they have in the past, to the point where it's just like, to me, business is like an art. The same way you might have an idea in your head and then you get it out onto screen or film, and it's like, yo, I like that. As close as you can get to what you had in your head. Yeah. That's when you got perfection. For me, business is the canvas. If I can get everyone moving in the same direction, like a football game, and everyone's playing their part and scoring the goals, that's
synchronization.
Yeah, man. I'm just
Guardiola stuff.
Exactly. And you just watch that play, and you write it down on the paper, and everyone just understood.
And that's where you are now. That's how it feels now.
That's how it feels. There's going to be moments when you have them shit matches and shit like that. But it's like that. I look at it like a match, and it's just like, yo, we need to win this particular game to get the points we need, and we're moving in that direction. We're still down on the table. If we're going to use that reference, we ain't going to win the cup this season. But
mid-table.
If we keep playing like this,
yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, man.
We have to keep playing like this.
Yeah, man. So it's a more positive table this week.
Well, yeah, hell yeah, man.
It's way more positive. But yeah, as we got Harry here.
Ask Harry, man. How was Harry's week?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Mad. One of our biggest competitors in the area. There's a lot of rumours going around about them, and they haven't opened a couple of days this week. So all of their customers have been coming to us, and the yard's just been
a good mad then.
Good mad, mate. Yeah, but like organised chaos sometimes. You look outside and nothing's really going right because of it. Like it's like too busy. Is that right? You know what I mean?
Sometimes that can be a problem as well.
Yeah.
Like too much.
And you got Arctics backing in to collect stuff and deliver stuff, but then you've got like too many of the tatting vans in the way, and then you've only got so many staff and they can't handle it all.
Yeah.
And then you're in the office then, it's just like spinning plates, and you got to keep all these plates spinning.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get used to a certain amount of custom coming in, and then when it scales too quick, it's like, whoa, it shakes the table.
We've had a good week. Our trade's funny, man. So we've had like a really, really good week on customers. We've been queues up the road. People are waiting 2-3 hours just to get in our yard and that. But then the market's dropped. So all the customers that are weighing in the coppers and the brasses and the different steels, all of their prices have come off. So like, although we're really, really busy, we're actually turning over less money.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like it's just...
I mean, at the same time, it's still something to be grateful for, because you don't want to be less busy with less.
Oh yeah,
less. You know what I'm saying? So at least it's balancing a bit.
Yeah, 100%. Most of our customers being like, they're like hand to mouth. So we have to pay them every single day. A lot of firms work on like 7 days and 2 days, things like this. But we've made like a good impact on our client base. Of we pay you at fair prices, competitive prices every day. get your money in your bank. What you see is what you get, sort of thing. And obviously, some people bring in different kinds of things, and you have to like deal with that and just have a deal with people. It's very like it's very face to face. Our traders, yeah, but it's fucking quite easy if you're easygoing and just get and fair.
It's people business.
It's getting the people back in, man.
You know how you said the competition haven't opened up. Obviously, we don't want unfortunate circumstances for anyone.
I couldn't tell you. I actually don't know.
But I was gonna say, do you do you make like a competition in your head to make sure that you stay on task when trying to get to like new goals? So like looking at them, and even though they don't know that you're competing with them, so you've got something to kind of. You know what I'm saying?
You just want to be busy all the time. There's nothing worse, man. Like, you know, same as any business in the world, we have like a quiet week, and it's just like you sat there, and it's just nothing's happening. You're just scratching your head, and it's like, what can we do? And you start doing like looking into it. It's not the prices. The prices are fine. What we're doing wrong, and like,
what do you do?
Yeah. And then when that happens,
yeah. What do you do?
9 times out of 10, it is the price, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, but like it's
that competitor again.
Our trade, like you can hedge markets and pre-sell stuff, and as long as you fulfill that contract, you can stay ahead then. If you haven't got a contract in place for a certain product, you have to go on what the market is, and if it's dropped, you have to pay less than someone else.
Sorry, can I let me just stop you there, because now we're talking about short selling, almost shorts like puts and I'm not too versed on
in the
Forex,
real world
but like hedge funds do that as well. Well, they'll buy a share at one price based on what it might do in the future.
Scrap is exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same.
I never heard it like never really
heard it
talk about it.
You know that saying on Wolf of Wall Street where they're all on the phone.
Yeah.
It's just exactly the same as that, but we physically see things. So
you're the people that are backing it physically with
the
guys
stock,
on
the
the
stock's
box.
physical. So you're buying scrap, processing it, and then selling it to the people you've got contracts with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got it at one price, and you're trying to make your margin between those prices.
There's a few things that you can do to upgrade it. So you buy it for a level. You could sell it at that level, make a little bit, or you can just do a few bits to it.
Like
process it like we've got like a new
refinery type
sort of, mate, and then you just sort of take that. Say you get an old car door, and there's 10 steps between that car door and then your brand new baby bean can in 6 months' time. You can just remove 2 of them middlemen by processing it yourself
and make more money,
and you get their margin.
So sorry, when we're saying for using the car door, is that like taking the colour off it, taking all?
No, like just the paint's fine, but you can like chop it up into a better grade of scrap called, like we call it 1 and 2, and then that scrap then goes to like almost end user, maybe like a fragmentation plant that will shred it, and then they will pick out all of the non-ferrous, which is the more valuable things like your coppers and your brasses and that.
It's like recycling, isn't it? Like if you put a tin can in the recycle, but it's still got the paper on there. That's another step that you have to do before you can use the material how you want to use it, isn't it?
It will be, yeah. Even as a paint, that there's just so we get it, we turn it into 1 and 2. That will probably go to a fragmentation plant. That will go through what we call a frag machine, smashes it up to like tiny pieces. That will then go through like conveyor belts with different magnetic bands on, electromagnets that will flick out the alley.
Okay.
And then your waste will come out one stream.
It's deep, isn't it?
All your valuables will come out another, and then your car, for example, has got copper, alloy, steel, like loads of metals in. And if you invest in the right machinery and you
break it down,
you can actually separate it all nowadays. Yeah.
So tell me this: you said that you got the biggest machine you've got is over 1 mil, and you've just got it.
Yeah.
Is that part of you trying to take this thing to the next level?
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without it.
So is that like you mentioned the process? Say a 6-step process. Would that machine be like half in the process? So then you're
making it easier for the next man to do his thing. So he's got to pay you for that time that he hasn't got to spend.
Let me ask you.
He hasn't got to use the 1.2 million.
Do you need that?
Yeah.
You do need
to make more money. You do.
Yeah,
yes.
you do need it, mate. Scraps.
So like your competitors have they got?
Some of them have bigger ones. Yeah. We're not the biggest in the country, or we haven't got the biggest one in the country. But you can't. Scrap's like a weird trade, man. It's very old fashioned, and you find that like a lot of yards, they're still old fashioned, and they're falling behind now. and it's all changing very quick. And if you don't keep up to date with all the latest stuff and like,
you're gonna get put out of business.
You get put out of business, mate. And there's loads of yards around Birmingham that we deal with, and they're all like 10 years behind. They haven't got digital computer systems.
Yeah,
and that.
you know what that's like? That's like being in a game where you're all selling the same product or moving the same product, but you don't know someone else has got a bit of an edge because they're doing something slightly different. And you thought you was all making it. How are they, mate? How are they? They must be struggling like we are. We're probably even getting more, but you didn't know.
They got the 1.4 machine.
You know,
I think that's a great segue, you know, because Harry, you're here for. Obviously, I've been requested by one of Speedy's mates, but when brought to the table, the thing in conversation in the group was the fact that you're using social media and using YouTube. So obviously, we're talking about having an edge over the competitors. I don't know anybody else that's in the same space as you that's using social media in the way that you are. And previously in the conversation, you've mentioned how, you know, your granddad started a business, then your dad's came in, but your dad's pretty old school with how he does stuff. And you've obviously flipped on its head because you're doing things that are not going to make any sense to your granddad or your dad. You get what I'm saying? So let's talk about that.
So we just bought a new yard and moved into it. And I think as we were sort of getting back on our feet again and getting the ball rolling and we were getting busy and stuff, I think I saw a bill for like the Yellow Pages or the newspaper, something like that. It's like $1,000 or something. And I was like to Dad, I was like, who the fuck reads a newspaper anymore?
Oh, okay. You're still doing that.
How much you paying? He was like, I've had this advert for 30 years. I was like, no way, man.
It's done us good for 30 years.
It has, mate. It has. But I wasn't saying it was wrong. I'm just saying
It's not right
it's
right now.
2020. What was it? 2021 or 20 whatever. I was like, and then at that time I saw people like, and a big shout out to these, very big inspiration to me. People like, you know, Yanamize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daniel,
I got into social media through going to the car events with like Lord Aleem. Lenny the Geezer, he used to call himself, but now works there. Like I know him personally. Met Yanamize a few times. Then it started out with like that Daniel Asheville. Watched his videos.
His
really,
really. They're in the same. Yeah, Daniel Asheville. That's kind of I see the comparisons in that.
Yeah,
very similar
100%.
sort of vibe. He's just smashed it, man. Hats off to him. Really done well. And there was another lad in the scrap trade, but he did car braking rather than actually recycling metal. Henry Arnold. And I was just watching these people, and I was like,
why can't I do?
Why can't I have a go at that? And I thought, what's the worst that can happen? You don't get no views. You give up after. You know what I mean? Like, there can't be any negative from it, really. You can portray yourself however you want to. And it kicked off. We started the YouTube. We found a company in Birmingham that would be like a cameraman, videographer, and like almost edit it and all that for me. And it did really well for like, you know, channel grew to like 10,000 subs in like a month, and really good. But the company that we used originally, like, we just find that after a few months they start sort of not putting that attention on you. And then we're busy doing day-to-day things, and I'm thinking, well, like, Laz, it's your job to sort of push me in the right direction. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. This is what I'm paying you for. And then I found my videographer that I currently use called Will, who's just literally found him on Instagram, and he's just sound. Good mate of mine now. Turns up once, twice a week, just sort of tries and films stuff in the yard. Gets a sort of... we try to keep it quite natural in terms of like last week the prices dropped. He just covers it. Just trying to be transparent. And just, this is what's happening this week. Had a quiet week, busy week, and just see how it goes, man.
What do you think? See, like from the content and in terms of that, like attracting new customers and stuff like that. Yeah, what is it in the content that you think attracts the customers? Because obviously you're showing lifestyle. I know you're showing aspects of the business, but you're also showing lifestyle as well.
I do it with my brother. We are totally chalk and cheese.
Okay.
Complete opposite people. Obviously he's like my best mate, but put a camera in front of him and he goes all like, he can't talk. He's awkward. And like, I think it just works, like the dynamic works well on camera. People like it. Like the comment, everyone loves Richard, everyone hates me.
Okay. What is that? Is that the comments or something?
Yeah, there's loads of people saying like, I always take the mick out of him in that. Or like he'll stop halfway through a sentence and like what are you doing? He's like, oh, I forgot what I said. And like, he's a funny bloke, man. He's like a little bit older than me. But we have a real good time making them. I think if we got 0 reviews, we'd still do it because it's a good crack, man. And then obviously your videos are out there online to everyone to see, and then all of a sudden the phone starts ringing, and you've got some mad little skip yard in like Dorset. My son watches your videos. What your price is like?
Okay.
So like brand awareness, brand awareness.
Yeah. And it's like, we've saved up some metal. My son loves you. What are you paying? And then all of a sudden you're thinking, fucking hell, I've got to like be on the ball with the prices now.
What am I paying?
You're famous.
You've got to be be up to date with it. You can't be lax when you put yourself out there. You've got to sort of back yourself up, haven't you?
Yeah,
But let's see, so the point that I was trying to get to, and you've made it now, is like I was trying to find out what is it that they're attracted to, and it's not like you doing sales saying this is our price.
It's not the metal.
It's just you. It's like you being you in it.
It's just us, and then
personality.
That, and we're very transparent, and we try and pay good prices and pay every day. You can't really go wrong with that. It's very simple, really. But a lot of, like the scrap trade's a funny one. There's a lot of funny people in it, and just try and be as consistent as possible with it's very word of mouth. Our traders, you get a bad name or a bad rep, or you rip someone off or something, like it goes around fast, and no one wants to deal with you then.
It's that property.
Yeah. I've used you a couple of times on refurbishment just for some scrap copper and stuff, man. The process has just been quick.
Yeah, man. But we have problems sometimes. So it's like we have customers that come in and they'll give us bank details that won't work, and they'll come in the next day moaning like it's our fault. Lads, it's not my fault, man. It's your bank. Okay. Phone your bank. It's fucking nothing to do with me. Or like the money, or we have a lot of Romanian customers, and they're all like tax credits, child benefits, things like that.
I don't want nothing in the bank.
Well, they'll let like their account have like $5,000 in, and then they'll use their sister's account, mother's account,
spread the love around.
Wife. But then they'll forget which account they've used, and then the money will go, and then they'll be thinking they ain't got it because it's fucking the sister's gone back to Romania, and they think they're blaming us for it. So we have a lot of stress, a lot of aggro every day.
But at the same time, I imagine that they're good clients.
The best, mate.
They come in consistently.
Grafters.
I have more aggravation with English lads, travellers, than I do with any of the Romanians ever.
Yeah, how was that changing with the tatters then? Over time.
So cash stopped in 2012.
Okay.
And now it's all traceable bank transfers. So you can't weigh anything in now. Now we've got a really good digital system that take photos of all of your stuff. Nice, clear, easy to read, printable receipts. You can't really get confused, you know what I mean? So people will come in, all itemised, get paid. Whereas before it was all cash, and when that changed, there was a few years of what's going on? My dad was just it's all he's ever known is big handfuls of money and that, and it's all changing. So the customers had to change with it. Had to get down with the times. Man. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Question: then will you be going to crypto?
Nah.
No.
You might get forced into it though. It looks like
if
the way the world's going.
Is what it is. You ain't got a choice, have I? I like something I can see.
Yeah, I hear that.
I put £1,000 into Bitcoin. I got one of them bit wallets. Try and spend it. Fuck knows. Still on there.
You're lucky, man. I've lost money. I had someone break into a car and steal a laptop one time, and everything was saved to this laptop. Myth.
Yeah, I've had 1.5 bitcoins get taken as well.
Yeah, he took it deep. Yeah. He was trying to find this coin.
Yeah, I was following the wallets, man. It was a big fraud that happened, man. It was must have been tens or hundreds of millions. I was following the wallet, and it went back to 3,000 bitcoins in a wallet. I was like, yo, I need my coins back, man.
I think as well, money's not easy to earn. And you've got to I think that ship sailed for me. That Bitcoin and the crypto stuff, it's too out there now. I've missed the boat.
Yeah, but you know what though?
Even
with all that, one thing I found is if you just stay in your lane, double down, and just become the most experienced person in your lane, you'll make all the money you need.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? We don't need to get quick overnight wins and all that kind of stuff.
That's when it goes wrong.
It's a blessing, but just double down on your field. Who can come in and make more money off scrap than you right now? Could I just set this up tomorrow and...
No way, man.
You know what I'm saying?
We did just the licenses on our new premises was over 100,000 quid.
Is that new premise? Is that because of the? I know you had an issue with the HS2 done a CPO on your site. Is that because of that?
Yeah, CPO on our site.
How did you feel about that?
Was that about 4 years ago?
What's a CPO?
Compulsory purchase order.
They
force you to sell.
The government come in and say, I want your house. you've got a month to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it like that?
That's it.
And then there was just trying to tell you just trying to tell you that you had to leave by a certain date, and if you stayed, you would be trespassing on your own property.
For about 12 months.
But they didn't pay you yet. But they didn't pay you yet.
Still
Did you?
ain't.
These that were like, yo, we ain't moving, you mad.
So how do you afford to? Well, how do they expect you to afford to?
It's not their problem. If my old man weren't who he is, with a few quid in that and
That's it, you're
successful,
done.
we would have been finished. Simple as that.
Mad, isn't it?
And he had
That's
to
crazy.
self-finance and remortgage himself to the hilt,
What?
stressed out of his brains, fucking get a new mortgage, bridging loans, buy new premises.
Nah, that's too much.
But then you can't just land at a site and set a scrapyard up, 500 grand in concrete, walls.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like he did that. Well, we all did it ourselves, and then fortunately it's worked out. The best thing we ever did was move yards in that respect. But they took like 3 old land offers, no mortgage, owned it outright, been on that same road like 40 years.
That's
or
your
something.
road.
That's mad how much rights they got in that aspect. Isn't it?
Well, it's mad how much rights we don't have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't own anything, man.
Yeah.
Like that.
When it really comes down to it, you don't know nothing.
My dad put a sign up on the road, Henry Taroni Avenue, which is my granddad,
Mm.
like 10 years ago. People actually send us letters now. It's the address. Do you know what I mean? Just took it over, but it doesn't matter, man.
Mad.
Yeah, they still owe us all the money. They ain't paid us anything.
And even with that, are they even going to give you what you believe
They
it's
will,
worth?
mate. They will. It's a government thing. They will, but what?
I mean, they're going to give you, but will they give you what you believe it's
No,
worth?
mate. No. If you've got a piece of land worth £1 million, that's what it's valued at, right? You would expect if it was a government scheme that was coming to take it off you and was going to cause you aggro, this, that, the other, say, right, what's it worth £1 million? If we give you 1.2, 200 grand compo, can you set up in 6 months? Yep, okay. Everyone would be happy. If your land's worth £1 million, they come in and go, lads, you got to move, and we'll give you 400 grand for it.
Fucking hell.
What? How does that make sense? You've got 3 or 4 independent valuers.
Is that basically what they've done?
Yeah.
And the wickedest thing is you can argue it, but who's got the time? Who's got the money? Who's got the solicitors to go through all that process? Like, it's
What makes it even worse in that respect is we have to pay all of our consultants and solicitors to fight it. Every single bill that we get regarding HS2, they have to pay it, whether that's interest on the mortgage we took out or solicitors' fees.
Mm-hmm.
So if we've got a mortgage on our property and it's, for example, say it's £1,000 a month interest, it would make sense for HS2 to pay it as soon as possible because they are just paying interest now. But they're just not bothered because it's like a government thing. No one's actually responsible.
that's where all the money goes, and in all these inefficiencies.
The budgets. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all inefficient.
Mad.
All right, justice for Taroni, man.
Yeah. we protested outside Snow Hill
Yeah.
because they just never replied to us. They fob us off and that. We were tolerable trespassers for like 12 months. They took our name off the deeds, the land and that, but we were like, we ain't fucking moving.
That's crazy.
Move us.
Yeah, I wouldn't move either, man.
No.
Trust me.
Nah, not until you're
Fight
ready.
that to the death, man.
All
Yeah.
right.
There's only you say that, but there's only so much you can do, man. You got to like the business was like, for example, concrete was breaking in the old yard. But Dad's like, well, we could be moving in 6 months. I ain't going to invest.
Okay, so it's where they want now.
And then we had to make that decision, man. Where we've bought the new place, we're going to have to just go and just try again.
Do you think you'll get paid out for it?
You will get paid out. It'll probably end up going to tribunal, and then you'll be arguing about the final
Shouldn't have
figure.
to.
Then you shouldn't have to, mate. No,
Shouldn't
you're
have
right.
to, man.
Yeah. Should have been clean cut from the start.
Yeah, but it's a simple thing. I think apparently in France they do that. Like, if you want your thing, they give you like 120%. 100 grand, they give you 120 grand, and then you're happy because you got over the odds.
Yeah, it's an inconvenience.
You can go and buy somewhere else, and at least they've helped. That's why everyone's for change. Here, HS2, all the protesters and that, everyone hates it because
It's still not done. After all these years, they're knocking down this, taking up that.
Like
staffed, mate. But like, obviously, I'll speak to my dad about it. He'll be here all night, man, getting wound up. Listen, he gets.
Let me ask you this. Let's go back to when you had you said you saw the bill for the yellow pages and you just the change. You implementing ideas. Did you get a lot of pushback, or is it like, you know what, it's yours? I trust you. Just do your thing.
My dad wasn't keen to start off with. My granddad, Henry Taroni, started the firm. He went on a show called Man Alive, like in the 70s or something, and it was about rags to riches because he had nothing. He was like actually had nothing.
What was he? Where did your family history even start from?
Bombardier in Italy became over. Like, I'm not going to say I'm Italian now.
Yeah.
0%. But the name is Italian.
So you know what? Like, and forgive me from being ignorant. You see Peaky Blinders. and then you got like the main family, but then they had the sub family that was like Italian. Has anyone watched Peaky Blinders?
I've not watched
Is it like that? You know what I'm on about?
There's loads of us, man. My dad's got like 60 cousins. It's just all over Solihull and that. It's a big family.
Yeah.
We got added on Facebook by people I don't even know who they are. Never met them. All Taronis and things.
Okay. I mean, it's an Italian name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Toronis have got some history in Birmingham.
They have, been around a
yeah.
lot. Like my granddad had the first car crush in Birmingham, and he used to rent land off Birmingham Airport to store cars and that. Back in them days, to clean them, you just set fire to them.
Okay.
Like, the councils used to let them set fire to the cars, man, to clean
Different
them.
times.
Mad.
Different times.
Yeah. But the reason why I mention the Peaky Blinders is obviously not Peaky Blinders, but even in there, they represent like the history of Birmingham and the kind of different people that are coming from different places. But there was a big like the gypsy communities that were coming from these places, like the Italians as well. Like he had a whole family where they lived as gypsies, and he would just go check them from time to time. But I always thought, why are those people here? Like, but Birmingham was like a bit of a melting pot for like
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, see?
people that have come and from different places and set up families here and been here for generations, man.
I do love fucking think the city's wicked.
Yeah.
It's got some bad bits, but
Yeah,
you can't really go wrong, man.
No, of course.
Continue with what you were saying though about the pushback. So
So my dad wasn't keen. I think my granddad
you went on the show, innit?
went on the show, did a bit of showing off and that, and got like a tax bill off the government.
Oh,
Mad.
so that's like Instagram back in the day.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
He went on
basically.
there stunting.
And then obviously my granddad like my dad grew up through watching that. And obviously when I started saying I work on YouTube, it was like, what's like your own TV show sort of thing. I was like, yeah, it's like, you put yourself out there. He was like, no. He's like, I ain't doing that. I work too hard for people to be watching and stuff, which is, fair enough. But then I talked him into trying it, and you can put yourself out there any way you want. And we really focused on it being about the business and drawing more eyes on us, and that would eventually, hopefully, mean more customers and things like that. But it's really, really worked.
So where are you now with your YouTube and content journey?
We try and put a video out every week. This is really, really difficult, man. All these successful YouTubers and that. I think I remember seeing like Logan Paul posted every day for like 2 years or something. Obviously, he's made it. Yeah, he deserves it. No, he's made it from it. But Christ, man, the stress doing that.
Editing, videoing.
One man can't do that. It's one man's not doing it.
But didn't he do it for a little bit himself?
Maybe, yeah. But
In the early days.
I'm just saying though, like for that to be sustainable, to post every single day.
You know, this though. You let's be realistic though. You start small. You build up. You build up. You get your mate involved. Little money comes in. All right, cool. I could pay the mate now. Don't work. You're doing this. Then you get two mate. Everything starts small, man.
Yeah.
Everything starts
We
small.
never started it to have like a massive channel or become like YouTube famous or anything. That was never. It's still not the goal. The goal is to obviously just be basically the biggest name in scrap. Do you know what I mean?
Bring more customers in.
Do you feel like you are?
Well, like I call myself a scrap king, which is, I think, it's hilarious because every scrap dealer on planet Earth thinks they're the scrap king, right? But I go around telling people I am it. So any scrap dealer in the world that calls themselves a scrap king, someone's gonna go, well, no, it's Harry.
Yeah.
I've like trademarked it now,
Trademarked.
and like
Literally.
no, not
I
literally.
was gonna say.
You should do that now.
I know, probably get onto it, but
You
like,
should do
Yeah,
that.
you can get they probably get the UK rights or something like that.
yeah, you put yourself out there enough, man, people start believing it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true, that is.
So even though you're not planning to become like YouTube famous, have you got plans to like develop your social media presence, or even just like take it to a different level from what you were? Or is it just like sustained at the level that you are now?
If I got it bigger, great.
Yeah.
To me, there's no disadvantage to having a bigger profile. It's just getting a bigger profile. It's actually hard work. People don't really see that. To get a bigger YouTube channel is like that Daniel Asheville. He's smashed it, but I know that he's put a lot of money into it. Got 2 full-time videographers, things like this. Is that worth it to me? At the end of the day, that was never the goal. The goal is to get more metal in. So it's like you either take the dive and then employ 2 people, or just keep going as you're going because it's half working.
Yeah, I guess now we're starting to talk about other avenues of income, other business ideas. Like it sounds like you are very committed to scrap, as in, and you've got other reasons other than money to do so, as in taking your family name to the next level, taking the business to the next level. But do you have other businesses or interests in other investments?
Not other businesses.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rental properties. But the yard's like a magnet to your time. It's the only downside to it. We're there a lot. We do long hours. Like we get there at 6:30, leave at 5:30. Saturdays work till 3. And when we're there, then it's consuming. You can't leave. Like for me to just go out and get a haircut, I have to like sneak out and like nick an hour. Do you know? Like it's hard.
And is that kind of just all year round?
All year round, mate. Yeah, yeah. Actually, May, as we're speaking about it now, is the worst time of year for scrap.
Proper hands on then.
It's just my dad's like the market's all over the place. The price is crap. There's no metal out there.
Why is that? Why is specifically May?
I don't know. No reason.
Just always May.
Yeah, it's just my dad's always had this like little slogan of like selling May and go away. Just shut the gates and just come back in fucking June.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, man. Yeah.
You know what? You mentioned something when we was talking before though about like you said something like elections in Turkey.
Yeah. So you know, all of our prices come off what we call the LME, which is the London Metal Exchange, and it's exactly the same as stocks and shares. So you get your baseline, and then you know up and down every day, your prices change. Turkey's like a massive buyer of.
They're the biggest buyer outside the UK or something
like
that.
Steel, yeah. So a lot of the UK steel goes to Turkey.
Why is that? Is that just with the developments that's going on?
I think they've just got a massive plant to like turn it into
just
sheet
like
steel.
now, we start to talk about like global economics now, man. It gets deep.
It's interesting.
And then
it
is.
They're having an election, I believe. So their country's obviously unstable.
Slowed down.
And then if they're big steel mills funded by the government, they don't really know where they're going to be in a month.
Turn it off.
They just slow it all down a bit. So they stop buying, which just then filters through to me, where I was getting, for example, £200 a tonne for my scrap. It slowed down a bit. Now I'm getting 170, but that's like, you know,
that's scaled that up over all the tons that you got.
15% drop in like 7 days or something.
We used to have a massive steelworks over Dudley size, didn't we?
There's an aluminium one there now.
Okay.
But a lot of our steel ends up in like Cardiff at the docks. They get shipped off then because then vessels can carry like 3,000 tonne and stuff.
You know what? Like I follow your Instagram and like it's interesting to meet you because the person that you are on there, obviously that's you, but I'm used to people that look like you and like when you're enjoying life, enjoy the life that you do, the way you do, be in a certain type of way. But then I'm sitting here with you now and you know exactly what's going on. You're intelligent. You know, you're
very hands-on.
Yeah, you're hands-on and all that kind of stuff. There, like I would expect you to be more of a like I'm out here partying. I'm less disciplined. You know what I mean?
It's nice to hear. That social media is horrible in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. It's just this is probably the side that people wouldn't
never do.
See.
Mate, we get the YouTube comments. And people are always because I'm on my channel. I'm always the funny one, but I'm just the easygoing one. My brother's always a stern one. We need to get to work. Blah blah blah. I don't see why there's any harm in having fun while you're doing your work.
No, of course.
100%.
But yeah, I think like anyone only shows the good sides on the Instagram and that, don't they? I've never posted a selfie 6 o'clock outside the yard dealing with 2 Romanians shouting at me.
Talking about I got this now, and also where's my money from yesterday?
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that.
It's in your sister's account, mate.
Who? Which sister?
That's what
I don't have a sister.
You'd be shocked. And they're all they're like the worst is the women.
Yeah.
Because obviously
pulling scrap out from everywhere.
No. Like it's a very man-heavy industry.
Yeah, but when you get the women doing
and
it,
then no. I mean, like, if there's ever a problem with a payment or if there's ever a problem with anything, they always send the wives in.
Okay,
they're vicious, man.
Do they speak
They're vicious.
Good English as well?
They know that you ain't gonna stand up to them.
Aluminium teeth and all that.
And they'll stand there and they'll like get aggressive and that the women do.
Oh, like that.
What do I do about this? She's like. You're stuck in you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's different. It's different.
You've talked a lot about putting in long hours and working a lot in the business. Do you think that's something that you'll always do, or will you think you were ever like?
I hope not, mate.
Yeah,
it's the only thing I hate about it. Long hours and that.
With all the technology, AI, the changes coming in, how do you systemize a business like that? What does that business look like in going into 2030, 2050 and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know about that far ahead, but it's such a hands-on industry, and you've got to think pretty much every customer that you have in the day is trying to rob you in some way.
Yeah, trying to get more.
AI ain't.
Give us an example of someone trying to scam you, rob you.
So everything is weight-based. So, for example, if a van comes in and weighs 2 ton with 2 passengers,
you weigh the whole van?
Yeah. They will then go and unload their metal
and then reweigh it.
And then reweigh the van. And for example, if like they throw out 500 kilos, the van will come back on at 1,500. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then if the van comes back on with 1 passenger in, I weigh 100 kilo. That's worth like 17 quid today. Do you know what I mean? So you got to keep an eye. Like that's just a very small example. Then it's just down to things like you got to have loyal lads. To get lads on the fiddle, they can write down that they brought 100 quid for the copper and it's worth 600 quid. Split it with them.
Also internal.
Loads. Yeah, but we have got systems in place. Like I say, photograph, weigh digitally, everything. So you can check, you can make sure that
you can go back over it.
But it's a very like hard. You know what I mean? Like
of course.
I don't think AI will ever do it. And there's different grades of scrap as well. There's cheap scrap and then there's good scrap. Every customer says they've got good scrap every day, and you've got to make sure they haven't.
So is that like having the like when you go into a jeweler, they got the gun so you can see if it's 18, 14, 12 and all that?
Yeah, I've got one of those. That for me, mine's not set up. Well, mine can do gold, but it's then there's different types of brass, different percentages of nickel.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Like, it's nickels, stainless steel. If it's got higher percent nickel in it, it's known as 316. It's worth like just under double. It looks exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? Like there's loads of stuff in there.
Do you have any children?
I've got one on the way.
Nice one. Congratulations.
Yeah, September it's due.
Yeah, man. What you having? Do you know?
No, mate.
Okay.
Healthy. That's it.
Yeah, of course. Would you want your child to be following in your footsteps? Would you put the pressure on them to?
No. My opinion now is no. It's hard. I want my kid to just be a doctor or something, man. Do you know what I mean?
Good profession. And
do you know what I mean? I want them to do their own thing. I'd love that.
Or want them to do whatever they want to do, kind of thing.
As long as
they turn around to me and said they wanted to be fucking, a chef, please, mate, just go and be the best chef you can.
Yeah.
And have your own restaurant. You want to have a cafe, I'll buy you a cafe, man. Just do your best at it. But scrap is hard.
How does the business continue though if you don't kind of push that onto the youth?
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we sell it for 400 million quid and me and my brother go and live on a yacht in Spain.
Maybe.
It's one of them, isn't it?
I hear that.
I'd love to think that I'll be there in 50 years' time, but I don't want to work. Who actually wants to work? Do you know what I mean? In that respect, you want to be able to have a passive income.
What about like putting the processes in place and like delegating those roles and just spending your time managing the roles and kind of putting that kind of stuff in place?
Do you think like it being a family business, it makes it harder to trust
outsiders?
In terms of processes and all that?
A lot of scrapyards that are, I would describe as bigger than ourselves, they always end up employing other people to help out.
Got her at some point.
You've got to, man. You can't expand. Like me working day to day, my head spins, man. Proper spins because I'm buying and selling metal, plus dealing. I'm on the weighbridge, which is like the front of house. So every customer that comes in, I weigh in and then I pay, and I have to check all the tickets and then watch them for conning and like. But then I've got big customers then that are trying to weigh in like 40 grand's worth of like Alibron solids. That's like an unusual product. And I've got to get the best price for it. And then
on the spot, you have to go and actually go and research that.
And then text or call up the 6 different people in the area that I deal with and say, what are you paying for this? What are you paying? Make a list. Work out what I want to take out of it, which is next to fuck all, because your customer that's got this nice stuff is obviously knows what he's doing. He knows what it's worth, and you can only take small margins.
He'll only allow you to take small margins. So
you like, but Dad always says like turnovers for vanity, profits for sanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Our turnover's tripled in the last 2 years. But then my dad says, fucking hell, sometimes I feel like I did better off when I was shedding 3 blokes.
And that's that thing that that's like lately for me, man, it's you can make 100 grand a month, but
how much are you keeping?
And you can keep 10. But the guy that's just making 20 quid and keeping 10 he's doing way better than
just down to things like white diesel has been banned now. No, sorry, red
diesel.
diesel.
Okay. Has it been banned?
For anything but farmers, basically.
Oh, for real?
So it shouldn't even be around here anymore?
Red diesel, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So,
that had a big impact on you guys then?
Yeah, it's like 10,000 quid a week extra.
Because you got to power the machines.
Yeah, 2 big cranes at like 500 litres a day.
So what's the difference in price?
50p a litre or something.
3 times the amount.
How come they banned it?
Tax, man. All that sort of stuff, just tax. It's like landfill waste that we
10 meg a week extra in their pocket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
like landfill tax
time to get it
is most of the tipping fee now. Your actual landfill only charges like little amounts. It's the tax. It's taxed out of its brains, our traders.
Okay.
It's really bad.
The government eats, man.
Would you ever do this business in another country? Has that ever been a thing, a conversation?
Don't know. really. A lot of scrap is based on relationships. I think to land somewhere and set up and be like, I'm here, I don't think you know what I mean, unless you had loads of dough.
To be honest, I always thought the scrap, probably not so much now, but back in the day was a bit of a gang thing. Where like it's kind of like you got families or you got like groups that are just kind of locking it down.
I think it just attracts a certain type of person. It's very like easy money, if that makes sense. Like you can nick something and weigh it in and get your dough. You know, railway cable, thing like that have always been a problem. You become a very good judge of character, and people come into the yard and I can tell what they've got on them before I've looked in the van, do you know what I mean? And it's like, nah, lads, I can't have that.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with
Just
someone's
say no.
like...
Just saying
Because
no.
I think when you was opening up your gym, we kind of had a similar discussion where you got guys that probably trying to lean on you a little bit like, wait, what's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You have to kind of stand your ground. Like,
You do have to stand your ground, mate. It's a very conflictual argument, and the only time we've ever actually had actual issues is of people that have weighed in like pennies, 20 quids and stuff.
They're giving you the most problems.
Yeah, all the time. I had a straightener with a bloke once over 7 quid. It would have been easy for me just to give him the 7 quid, but I thought, nah, fuck you, man.
principle, mate. Be back with another 7 quid tomorrow.
Yeah. So just like, that was it, man. He thought I owed it him. I thought I didn't. I thought I proved it. He thought I didn't. And in the end, he was like, I'm going to go and take it.
What part of the business do you enjoy the most?
Can't delegate that.
Yeah, can't deal with that bit.
The chaoticness of it.
Yeah.
I think if I was a receptionist, I'd just fucking be bored. You know what I mean? Like I get to work and I don't know what's coming in that day, or I don't know the type of person I want to deal with. Bearing in mind, I've got crackheads to people that own factories that turn over 300 million a year and that, and you've got to be able to talk to everyone in the same way.
Yeah, you can't do that with AI.
That's a skill in itself.
Yeah.
So you must have so many stories, so many things to say about like just the things that you've experienced through.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think it's definitely. I look back at my school days and that, and I went to like private school. I went to boarding school and that, and I speak to some of the lads that I went to school with, and they're just so in their own little bubble. They've never done anything. Do you know what I mean?
Let me ask you a bit more about the private school thing, because I get the impression that even though you come from a good family and you well off, went to private school, you're probably still a bit different from the people that you was at the school with. So how did that contrast work for you? Did you feel alienated at any point?
I just think I try and just be a nice bloke, get along with everyone, and I think I was the same when I was like 15. And it's just sort of, it's nice to be nice, isn't it? As long as you get along with everyone and you have respect for people, they sort of mostly give it you back, and then you just, you know, some of my best mates I went to private school with. Love them. Like,
what are some of the things that they're doing now?
one of them's like manager of the biggest Hilton in London.
Okay.
The other one sells racing fuel from Texas. It's a cool job. My other one breeds birds of prey from directly for sheikhs that are buying that.
Yeah, different kind of.
That's different
Would
stuff.
you say like a lot of your friends
Different.
are, well, they do business and
Yeah, they do, mate. But they're just normal lads, you know what I mean? They're happy to work. I think a lot of the parents have got successful jobs, businesses, but everyone's grafted that I'm friends with. And they've still got that work ethic. And like a good friend of mine who works for Hilton now, his parents are farmers, but like he just didn't fancy that lifestyle. But instead of just living, because they're loaded, instead of living off their money,
Made
he
his
thought,
own.
no. He literally went down to London to like set up conference rooms for the Hiltons. Like, you know, they do massive companies, these big events and that. All of a sudden now he's like the one that plans it. And he planned Paris Hilton's party
Nice.
when she went to London and that. It's mad.
Mad.
And he's just a normal kid to me. Like, he's just Harry. He's also called Harry, but like, yeah, just take him as you come. But then like some of my mates I've met since leaving school, got nothing, had nothing, but we get along because they've got a good work ethic. And all of a sudden, 5 years later, it's just bought. You know what I mean? Like they're all right now. They've got a good job. They've got their heads screwed on.
So do you think it's important to build relationships with people that are similar minded then, or is it just, would you say like it just naturally just your friends are who your friends are?
I think
because obviously you talked about the whole social media thing and going to see Yanamais and all that. Like, is those all relationships that you purposely built, or?
No, mate. I just I met that Lenny who was friends with the Animais. Like when I say I know him, I'm not like I wouldn't text him tomorrow and say, "You okay? Do you want to fancy a pint?" But 5 or 6 years ago, I saw him quite a lot when we did the different car shows, and you do just build a rapport with them, and then you're friendly. Then, do you know what I mean? And I would imagine I'd like to think now if I ever phoned up Lenny and said, "You know, I'm starting a business. So you've got a massive following. Can you give me a hand?" I'd love to think that he'd say yes. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. But then same again. If someone ever phoned me up and said, "Shout the product out," I've got like 11K on Instagram, but anything helps, doesn't it?
No, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I really, I don't care. I have to do this. I want to just give Harry a little bit of more insight to like what we're doing, like with this particular show on the network that we've got. Yeah. So obviously we've got this finance show, and it first started off just I wasn't even on the table. It was Mikey, Sam, somebody else, and Speedy was on the sofa. But we've got to this point now where we're also trying to create this business within the business, and we're using this show as an opportunity to share the journey in that. So currently we're in the process of setting up a podcast service. So like for somebody like yourself who you're already involved in like content, social media, whatever, but you've got the scrapyard business, and like just sitting down and listening to you talk about, you know, you had to have a straightener with a guy over £7, and just talking about all of those little things. Like you're sitting on gold, like in terms of like stories and content that you can share.
Imagine getting some of your best clients in there to sit down and just have a conversation about their experience in the scrap trade.
Let's get my dad a Chinese, yeah.
And that's all it.
A fag and 2 hours. But my dad's a bit like me, man. He talks about himself a lot. Set him off.
That's good though, man, because that's what people want to hear at the end of the day.
But the stuff he comes out with, you got to remember, like, there ain't no cameras 10 years ago. Stuff like this, mate. Different world 20 years ago.
I'd love to know what
the stories he comes out with, and the people he's met, and the things. I wouldn't say he's done, but like just the things he's seen over the 4 years being in the scrap trade, 50 years. It's absolutely crackers, man. And there's nothing better than when. A good example is it like when a friend would come back from school. Very isolated, bubbled life. Let's come meet my dad. He's 15 years old. My dad goes, "Do you want a fag?" Kids like, what? Just like, my dad just thought it was funny. Like corrupt him, but like in a good way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then my dad is on purpose. He says something, and you can see my pals that are like, you know, the parents have got like lawyers and stuff, and their heads just spinning, thinking, "Yeah, he just said that."
Yeah.
My dad's a good character, man. He's I'd like to say like he comes across. Everyone likes him. He's very generous, very kind, but he just the stuff he can come out with is just bonkers, man.
Is he on your podcast? I mean, sorry, is he on your YouTube?
Little bits, but like he gets a bit.
It's not really.
Like I say,
not really on that.
Give him a few drinks and a fag, and let him relax. Different person, 20 years on the podcast, on our YouTube channel. The few clips that we've got of him on there, he's very like he thinks, "Oh, we've got to be posh now and stuff," but.
It's
the real him
is
just
it's a different
so
time now.
funny,
A couple of drinks and a couple of fags.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah.
Carl, what was you going to say, Sid?
No, because honest, my thing is like I asked Harry, what is it that the people connect to, and it's just the stories that you tell, and it's just like I just think you're made for podcasts, bro. Like you should do more of them.
Definitely
do.
I'd love to. I've thought about it. I'd love to do one, but the bad thing about having our scrapyard is it's so time consuming.
Yeah, it sounds like I believe you, man. The way you
so it sounds like you need someone to come in and just organise that for you.
Yeah, I mean, with the scrapyard game, there must be people operating. You know, there's companies floated on the market turning over billions every year. Would you ever see this go into those levels? Would you get Would you get a consultant in to like say, you know what, have a reshuffle around. You're gonna have to make some hard decisions, but this. Because that's like,
I think that will be possible. I hate to say it, but maybe in a few years' time, when my old man's maybe retired or left the game or whatever, because it's a difficult one to sort of justify getting help with when he's obviously been successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell my dad out. My dad still writes notes down on the back of tissue boxes and that.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, how the fuck does he know what he's doing?
But he does.
He's him,
and it works.
Smashed it.
And it's worked.
And he can't really.
It's working.
It's working, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to respect it, man.
Obviously, I can push the boundary with him in terms of like, I want to try this. or I want to look into this side of it. And he's very open, and he's very keen to see where Rich and I will take it. But I think he's very, especially with things like the HS2. If there was like over 16 million quid, if that cheque landed tomorrow and my dad had some like almost money to play with, he'd say, "Yeah, go on then, lads, we'll try it, and then we'll see where it goes." But while the yard's so busy and the cash flow is a massive thing in our trade.
You can't take your eye off the ball and it can mess things up.
Can't take it off, mate.
It's the same. I hear you, man. It's the same in what I do. And to be honest, I'm interested in your responses because I've got a son, and one day I hope to be in the same situation, and I hope like he's in the same situation as you, and he wants to be a part of whatever I'm creating today. And it's interesting to know what someone in your situation would do. That pressure, but then you don't want to let your family down. But then you've got yourself to think about. You got the next generation to think about. It's a lot of pressure.
It is, mate.
It's a lot of pressure.
And also as well, my dad's almost had it to himself. There's my sister, my brother, me. There's three of us to split it between, in a way. So if you think of it in terms of like, Dad was earning X amount of money a year and he was happy. We've got to triple that now because we all want to be happy. So that means we've all got to work harder. Do you know what I mean? There's more mouths to feed now. Just keeping that ball rolling. My dad always says spinning plates.
Yeah.
But he's been like, you can send your kid to fucking any school you want, man. But if you got like a good parent like yourself and you want to show your kid, you can be as educated as you like, but if you ain't got that work ethic, mate, don't matter. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
How do you think you build that work ethic? Do you think it's something that's ingrained
or how will you try to build that work ethic into your child?
Do you know what? I've seen my brother and my sister's, my sister's kid's like 13 and that, and I'm like, "Here, come and work at the yard on a school holiday." And I remember, like, when I did it, I never had like a chance to escape and go and play on my PSP in the back room. But like,
He was really working.
actually, like, well, not really even just working, man, but like, he'd just throw me in the deep. Like, just go and sweep that fucking pile of shit up over there.
Yeah.
And then you'd just be speaking to the lads and just picking stuff up and just watching rather than actually working. You know, you're 15, you can't actually do the work, if that makes sense. You can't drive a crane. And then you just sort of, grow into it, you get into it. But there hasn't been a role in the yard that I haven't done. I've loaded lorries with the cranes. I've tidied the yard up with the cranes. I've cropped copper. I've swept the floor. And like, done every sort of bit. The only thing I haven't done is drove a lorry, and I refuse. I ain't doing that. My dad would be like, "Aaron, go and drop that load off somewhere," and I'm busy. And he'd be like, "Fucking hell, man, I'm going to go out the yard now for 2 hours." It's the only thing I refuse to do.
So what have you noticed with your sister's kids then? Because you were saying like they're 13 and...
It's hard because the industry's changed, where when I was 15, it was very easy just to be a bit lax and just let me go out and play in the yard.
Rules and regulations now, safety and all that.
Can't really do that now.
Yeah.
So as much as we have the idea we used to call Russell, same name as my dad, send little Russell out to learn the trade. We've got to be careful, man. There was a scrapyard a few years ago that a wolf fell over, killed 5 people, and the lads are actually inside. That the owners have been done now. They've got 8 weeks to do inside the green. So, as a director of the company, you think all of a sudden now all the Romanians get a vest on. You switch on, do you know what I mean?
It's different times, man. You have to be
Different
safe.
times, mate.
It is what it is.
Because I bet the yard can be a dangerous place.
It's a real risk, but I guess when you're just growing up and you don't take things that seriously.
No, you don't, mate. I used to get like, and the business has changed. It wasn't as busy as it was before. It was a bit more relaxed environment to be around. Like, I could wander around and just paint skips and fuck about. Now it's like you couldn't do it. It's dangerous. But they come down the yard and we get one of the lads and say, right, they don't have to do anything, but just make sure they're watching you and just picking it up, and at least then they're soaking something something up.
They're in their environment.
Yeah.
You know what? It's better than nothing, man. It's better than nothing. Like, they could be at home just on YouTube or playing games, doing nothing. I'd rather they be on YouTube playing games, but they can pop their head over and hear a conversation or something
exactly,
like that.
mate.
It's better than nothing.
But like, there isn't like a lazy family member. We all work, so hopefully they see that anyway.
Yeah, it's just part of the culture.
We all work and we all do the long hours, and they don't know anything different. Do you know what I mean?
What do you do for you? What makes you happy within all of this?
Gym, really, really into fitness. A couple of years ago, I swam the channel.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't on my own. There was 5 of us. We did like a relay race across the channel.
It's a bit much.
And I did one of them Ironman last year. What did it do for me? I don't know. Not a lot.
Yeah.
I've got a few really close mates, mate, that I'll try and see as much as possible.
How old are you now?
28 on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've got my own. I love cars, love engines. Could support myself a new bike and that. So I'm out on that a lot at the minute with my brother. I like treating myself to nice things, but obviously, you know, comes with fucking loads of work and that. Yeah, I don't really do a lot, man. You know what I mean?
Now, you know, I'm sure we can all relate right now because we're so head down in our businesses and what we're doing. Like, unless it kind of complements the life, it's not going to be too far outside.
Yeah,
of
like, you know, if I can go out for a nice meal and that with the missus,
Yeah.
go and see my pals, have a few drinks and that, I'm happy.
Just normal stuff, innit?
Yeah, man, I don't really have anything mad that I do.
What would you do with your time if it was freed up? Where would you go? What would you? What would life look like? Would you have to find yourself again? Because that's the question that I'm asking myself lately. Like,
I've never had nothing to do.
yeah,
When I went to Morocco 3 weeks ago, went 5 days. Mrs. lies there on the sunbed, 4 hours, one position, like that. I'll do like 10 seconds, man. I'm like,
mine's racing.
yeah, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go to the gym in the hotel. It's crap. But
Yeah,
that hour I've like done something. I can't sit still, man.
I hear that.
So what do you do then? So like that example what you just gave there. So what do you find yourself doing? Are you kind of just checking up on work on your phone, or you?
Yeah, I've got 2 WhatsApps on my phone. I've got business and normal. And I had to get that about 6 months ago because my normal phone was just being too much. People texting at 10 o'clock at night and that. And I was like, I've had enough of this. I've blocked hundreds of people, man. Because my brother, this is like a little thing. My brother think it's funny to give like a really annoys customer my number. He won't tell me. He won't tell me he's done it. And then I'll get like 50 ping, and then, oh, who's this? No, I never that on a Sunday. No chance. Block. But I'm having a kid soon, so maybe like
Life's gonna change, yeah.
everything will change for me.
Reshuffle.
Yeah, my priorities and that.
It's gonna have to.
Yeah,
It will. It
you
will
know,
change.
just like my free time ain't gonna be my own free time anymore. And that, so
For a while.
yeah,
For a while.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But
A
I'm
lot more
excited.
stress.
Way more stress.
You know, it depends how you frame it.
Good or good.
It's good stress.
It
It's
depends
good
how you
stress.
frame
It's
it.
good
Like,
stress.
it's going to be a learning, learning curve. But then there becomes that age where it's just like, you know what, I've got someone here now that's like I'm training to be, you know, a better version.
It's gonna change as a man. Trust me.
Yeah, into a better man, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, do you know, like the stuff that I regret from when I was younger and that probably made me who I am today. I'd like, oh yeah, well, you know, don't let my kid get fat, for example.
Yeah, I hear that.
And it's like you don't want to. I want to be quite easygoing. Like, don't force them into anything. But then it's getting the balance between like being too easygoing and letting them become a lazy fucker, and then you need to. I'll find it, man. It's,
Yeah.
That's parenting, man.
Yeah,
That's
I'll find
the
it.
challenge of parenting.
Just as long as they got discipline, so you can make sure you control them. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned in parenting. Like, I've got them under control. If there's an issue, dad comes in, you need to behave. Because the way I'm seeing, like, a lot of young people nowadays, it's like, where are the parents? In some cases, you know what I mean?
I'm lucky, man. My missus is a big farming background, and like her dad, she doesn't see fucking 3 months of the year because he's churning fields and stuff. And he works mad hours because he's got to get them fields done before the weather changes.
That's big work. That's real work.
So yeah, so she's had a very similar like view to work as I have grown up. Like, it has to be done.
She's got that understanding there.
Yeah, and obviously when she goes on maternity leave, you know, a lot of women that I hear about, or friends, missuses or whatever, they have a kid and, you know, they still put pressure on the fella. I know it probably sounds really old-fashioned, doesn't it? But like, I've still got to go to work.
No, of course.
And I think you got to get that balance, man. And everyone in the family's got to pull in the same direction, haven't they?
Yeah, I get that.
You know, just as you touch on that, just talking on relationships and like the men's role in being a provider. Do you believe I'm the breadwinner? Like, yeah, earn whatever you earn, missus, but it doesn't have to be too. But like, my responsibility is to bring in the big dough and look after the family.
I think that's traditional. Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about it in a sense that I just think I've taken the role, and it's never really. I've had to think twice about it. You just sort of crack on, don't you?
It is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't really ask my missus for anything. She's got me a nice pair of shoes for my birthday though.
Just support, innit? You want support.
Mate, yeah. You know, God, it sounds. I don't want to say it, but like, you know, it's just something so cliche as get home. I don't want any stress in that.
Yeah.
Just be my peace.
I just want to. Like, I've got a garage at my house. Got a few gym equipment stuff in there, man. I go home, have like an hour to myself, man. I just get on my own gym, chill out, and then I'm in bed for like 9 o'clock every night. I'm up at half 5 o'clock, and no stress, man. Long as we all get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know, just that's it. See how it goes. Everyone's happy. She's independent. She plays hockey, and obviously not now. She's pregnant, but she's got her own life. As long as you've got that healthy space, you're not smothering each other and things. We get along really well, and just coach through it. Man. It's all right.
Yeah, man.
It's all right. Well,
End it there, innit?
yeah, we'll end it there. Harry, you've gave us some big insights.
Yeah, definitely know a lot more about you.
Yeah, man. And you know what? It's just it's good to have someone on that's got a family business. Then
100%.
Because like obviously, it just shows that it's not just like whether you're getting it from the mud or not. It's still levels of hard work that has to be put in. Like, and I don't think everyone will understand it like that. So I don't know, like people that are really interested.
It's probably harder when it's built.
Yeah,
because now you've got the pressure of maintaining it and taking it to the next level.
Yeah, so shouts out to you, bro, and hopefully
and the family as well.
Yeah,
so your nan's 80.
Big up to everyone.
84 or 85, that sort of age.
Still
every day.
She in the office?
Every day.
Come on, man.
Every day. She might have her hair done like a Wednesday.
Yeah, shout out, Nan.
That's what I'm saying. Age is just a number, man.
Yeah, man, and obviously keep pushing. Congratulations on the new one coming through, and hopefully we can sort out some
some content.
Podcast services.
Content. That's what we can do on that side of things. But we want you to come back on anyway. Our update is always needed. So, like time's always going on. So we'll do a check up.
We have got some big plans.
Yeah.
It's just time and when we can pull them off.
Yeah, man. So that's what there you go then. So
we're good luck with all that, man.
Let's keep connected and let's try and do business. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.